What's up, guys? I wanted to weigh in really quickly on the controversy that has developed around GBS calling out Dr. Mike about his technique cyborg thing. I'm just trying to do it while it's on top of my head. I'm not in my usual setting, so probably the audio quality is going to be even worse than it usually is. But on the flip side, you get to look at these lovely Joshua trees that my neighbors planted, which I think is really cool. If you guys haven't been to Joshua Tree and you're in SoCal, check it out. It's really awesome. But anyway, I'm going to be directly responding to Bald Omni Man, who more or less said, I'm summarizing and paraphrasing, that we're all doing the wrong thing by criticizing people that do clickbait and do things that are designed to generate controversy to get more views, and the best thing to do is just to ignore them. And I'm going to respectfully disagree. Obviously, I think he's right about a lot of things. I think his training advice is great, and I think his heart's in the right place on this. But we see this attitude get expressed a lot when there's any controversial figure in the fitness industry. Just ignore them and don't give them any views, and I think that's misguided, and I'm going to share why really quick. Basically, these people they're already going to get the attention that they're going to get. If we're talking about them, they're already in the public space. Dr. Mike is not going to go away. He's got, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or millions of followers or whatever the case may be. He's not going to go away. We can't just ignore him, and he's not going to be here anymore. I think the best example in this situation is somebody like Joel Seedman. Okay, everybody criticizes the guy, everybody laughs at the guy, everyone thinks he's silly, and yet he's blown up. So, okay, does that mean that was the wrong thing to do, to criticize him? Did we just feed the troll and allow him to get bigger? I mean, to some degree, probably so. We gave him attention that probably allowed him to build his business. Okay, so maybe that was a bad thing. But here's the thing about it. Does he have any influence? Is he an influencer? I would argue that he's not. Because you don't see anybody outside of his particular athletes that he's managed to hoodwink doing Joel Seedman's exercises. Is everybody looking at him? Absolutely. He gets tons of attention, but attention isn't influence. I would argue that he's not really changing much about how people train. People are not adopting his methods. People are looking at him as a sideshow, somebody to point and laugh at. I would argue that I'm more of an influencer than he is, because while I have much smaller social media footprint, like tons of people actually do the stuff that I advocate for. I get DMs and comments from people every day, saying that they've tried this or that I advocate, and it worked really well, and that's awesome, and I love that. That's great to see. I mean, other than people trying to, simp for Joel just to get featured on his profile or something to boost their status, like nobody says anything positive to him. Nobody does his stuff, and if you put yourself in the mindset of a beginner, somebody who has no frame of reference for how to conceptualize any of this stuff, what's the first thing you're going to look at if you're not sure whether somebody who's saying something novel or weird is right or not? You're going to look at the comments. You're going to look at what other people in the industry have to say about him. And when it's something that's exclusively negative, like basically the reaction to Seedman is, people are going to realize pretty quickly, people aren't that dumb, they're going to realize, okay, everybody else in the industry says this guy's a joke, I'm probably not going to do any of his stuff. Compare that to, somebody else who's maybe at a similar level of attention, like knees over toes guy, for example. There's some controversy there, but there are tons and tons and tons of people who have responded very favorably to him and say, hey, this really helped, this is very positive. And now you see like everybody and their moms doing knees over toes guy exercises, and that's a great thing. So the reaction that we have to people is just as important as their message them itself. Somebody can get tons of attention as a clown, but if they're just being laughed at, are they negatively impacting anyone? No. I mean, sure. I mean, Joel Seedman is, I guess he's taking money from, his athletes, but a lot of them are pro athletes, so they probably have plenty of money anyway. And I'm far, far more concerned with making sure that people just watching it, trying to get into fitness, trying to figure out what they should do, get good quality information. So that's where calling people out when they say things that are incorrect or, not helpful comes in. If somebody has a big social media presence like Joel or, Dr. Mike or something, and they're putting out something that we may think is misinformation, I think how the fitness industry reacts to that matters a lot. People aren't going to, if the reaction is overwhelmingly negative, that is going to influence how many people take that advice as good. If people just say, oh, I don't agree with that, so I'm going to ignore it and hope it goes away, then all you're going to see is people saying, oh yeah, this is good advice, and you're going to think it's really good advice. I think it's far more important to get that contrary opinion out there if you think it's true. So regardless of whether I agree with the content of what Joffrey had to say, I think he did absolutely the right thing by seeing something that he disagreed with and calling it out. That's, in my opinion, that's what we should do. It's an open discourse. If someone's saying something and you disagree, I mean, the overall quality of information out there gets better when we share things like that. And for the record, I do agree with Joffrey. I think he was right about this, but that's not even so important to the central point I'm making here as the fact that, open discourse where you're free to criticize someone who says something you disagree with. I think that's just going to increase the quality of information that's available to people to make their own decisions so much more than just, sitting on any opinion that we have that's negative because we don't want to give any more attention to people that we think may already have too much. But I don't think that goes anywhere. I think all that does is let people build an echo chamber where the only opinions people see about their teachings are, positive ones. So if that's, I think ultimately, like, follower count, views, doesn't matter to an influencer. You don't become an influencer because you have a certain number of views or follows or whatever the case may be. Those could all be people just like watching for entertainment, watching, laughing at you. They might think you're silly. I followed Joel Seedman for a while just because I thought he was funny. That didn't mean I was getting influenced. So, somebody can have 5 million followers watching every one of their videos, but if they don't ever do anything based on it, you're not influencing anyone. Whereas if you only have, a fraction of that number, but people are out there taking that information seriously because maybe you've developed an echo chamber where you're surrounded only by cultists who are saying that everything you do is good, that person is going to have a lot more influence, even though they may have smaller reach. I mean, just speaking personally, I've already gotten to the point where I don't care about any more views or follows or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, I'd appreciate it if you follow me and everything, but all I care about at this point is, people that are going to listen to what I'm saying and, take something from it, apply one of these exercises, get some benefit in their lives, take something positive from what I'm doing and actually do something with it. Or, just completely cynically, well, not cynically, I'm trying to feed my family, but I would like you to buy my book. So, I care about people who are going to buy my book, give me money. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sell you garbage to get your money. I think I'm very confident that anyone who buys the book will feel like they got their money's worth. But I care basically that you're going to either use my ideas in a positive way, and I'm going to actually have a positive influence on the fitness industry. And by the way, the sheer number of people who I respect in the industry who have already followed me and said positive things about me and seem to be interested in what I do is incredible. It's overwhelming. It's like humbling because I'm just some guy in a parking lot. I'm literally in a parking lot right now. So that's really awesome. So that's really awesome. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm getting apart from I'm getting beside my point. But basically, what I'm telling you is I don't care. Like, I don't have any reason to want more just sheer follows, sheer views, because that doesn't really do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for me. If you're just looking at my channel for entertainment, I'm glad you like that, but there's probably something more entertaining out there. I recommend, what's this guy called? Uncharted X. He does a bunch of really cool videos about like the true age of the pyramids or something, or maybe dinosaur channels. I know you guys like dinosaurs. There's a ton of cool stuff. Warhammer 40k lore. That's probably all more entertaining, but bottom line, like, I do want to influence people to use exercises that can benefit their life, and I obviously want people to make purchases and give me money, not just for me, or to support my family and all. But anyway, that's just kind of to get the point across that, like, attention is nothing. I can't do anything with attention. I have a fairly small social media presence compared to a lot of people, and I already have more people following me than I could ever possibly meet in my life. It's already gotten to the point where it's gotten a little bit less fun because it's so hard for me to divide my attention among the people that totally deserve it. I have people like tagging me on Instagram every day in really cool lifts, and I don't always catch all of them, or I don't always have time to respond the way I'd like to. It was honestly a lot more fun in some ways when I had less followers because I felt like I could actually interact with people more, and it was just more fun. My attention wasn't being divided in so many different directions. So now, it's like, the more you grow, you're really just interested in getting your message to more people and obviously selling your product to more people, but that doesn't, the attention doesn't absolutely nothing for you, right? There's absolutely no benefit in being a Joel Seedman type who just gets attention for bad reasons and no one actually respects you, right? So, bottom line, I think people should just play it straight. You know, don't be afraid to give someone negative attention, because that's going to impact their influence. And, you know, if you think what they're saying is bad, you should want to, you know, impact the type of attention that they receive and just correct the record, you know. It's much better for somebody who is saying nonsense to have 1 million followers who don't care what he has to say than to have, you know, 100,000 followers, but he's got like devoted followers that are doing everything he does. If you think he's wrong, far better to get him attention than to just let it sit there and not criticize it. So I think Joffe was, you know, doing the right thing. And you guys know he's not out here calling people out every day. He's not a drama channel or whatever the case may be. You know, he saw an issue that needed to be addressed, and he, you know, he did that. I think he's, you know, he was in the right there. And, you know, don't get me wrong, some of these people that criticize that, like, you know, Bald Omni Man, I mean, their heart's in the right place. They see the exact same thing, you know, and they're just responding to it in a different way. I just think it's misguided. So I'm not, you know, saying he's doing anything bad. I just think that, you know, we can't equate influence with attention, and we should not be afraid to give people negative attention if it's warranted. Anyway, that's all. Back to your regularly scheduled programming with hopefully odd lifts and dinosaurs and stuff next video. Oh, by the way, I'll be doing a 10,000 subs Q&A. I'll probably make a community post, but if you want to put some questions for the channel in this video, I'll take them from there too. All right, thanks for watching.